The Theory of Karma Retribution in Buddhism. An overview of the theory of karma. Retribution in Buddhism. Karma retributions are consequences, requitals, of one's previous life. The pain or pleasure resulting in this life, from the practices or causes, and retributions of a previous life. Therefore, ancient virtues said, if we wish to know what our lives were like in the past, just look at the retributions we are experiencing currently in this life. If we wish to know what retributions will happen to us in the future, just look and examine the actions we have created or are creating in this life. If we understand clearly this theory, then in our daily activities, sincere Buddhists are able to avoid unwholesome deeds and practice wholesome deeds. According to Buddhism, karma is the natural reward or retribution for a deed brought about by the law of karma mentioned by the Buddha. The fruit of karma, conditions of rebirth depending on previous karmic conduct. Karma as wind blowing a person into good or evil rebirth. If a wholesome wind blows into a good place, beings will have pleasures, while an unwholesome wind blows into an evil place, beings will have miseries. Though karma was simply defined as deeds, in reality karma implies the accumulation of all our experiences and deeds since the birth of mankind, and since even before that time. The karma of previous existence that Buddhism teaches is still more profound, as it includes the karma that our own life has produced through the repetition of birth and death from the infinite past to the present. Layman Pangyun said, ordinary people are small in courage and narrow in perspective. They always infer that this practice is easy and that one is difficult. They do not know that the discriminating mind, which deems things to be easy or difficult, is itself the very mind that drags us down into samsara and evil's paths. If this mind is not uprooted, no liberation is possible. The movement of karma is only a movement that continues unbroken. The being who passes away here and takes birth elsewhere is neither the same person nor a totally different one. There is the last moment of consciousness, Kudisiddha or Vijnana, belonging to the immediately previous life, immediately next, upon the cessation of that consciousness, but conditioned by it, there arises the first moment of consciousness, of the present birth which is called a relinging, or rebirth consciousness, Padasandhi-Vinana. Similarly, the last thought moment in this life conditions the first thought moment in the next. In this way consciousness comes into being, and passes away yielding place to new consciousness. Thus, this perpetual stream of consciousness goes on until existence ceases. Existence in a way is consciousness, the will to live, to continue. Practitioners should always remember that karma complete in one thought, or at just one thought the work completed. If we have sincere thought or faith and cultivation, we surely reduce a lot the formation of new karmas. Once good or evil deeds committed, karmas are automatically formed, without any exception. However, Most Venerable Thich Ton Tam, a famous Zen master in recent Vietnamese Buddhist history, confirmed that cultivation means transformation of karma. Therefore, no matter what kind of karma, from previous or present, can be transformed. Man is the creator of his own life and his own destiny. According to Buddhism, man is the creator of his own life and his own destiny. All the good and bad that comes our way in life is the result of our own actions reacting upon us. Our joys and sorrows are the effects of which our actions, both in the distant and the immediate past, are the causes. And what we do in the present will determine what we become in the future. Since man is the creator of his own life, to enjoy a happy and peaceful life, he must be a good creator. That is, he must create good karma. Good karma comes ultimately from a good mind, from a pure and calm mind. The law of karma binds together the past, present, and future lives of an individual through the course of his transmigration. To understand how such a connection is possible between the experiences and actions of an individual in successive lives, we must take a brief look at the Buddhist analysis of consciousness. According to the Buddhist philosophy of consciousness, the Vijnanavada school, there are 8 kinds of consciousness. The first 5 are the eye, ear, nose, tongue and body consciousnesses. These make possible the awareness of the 5 kinds of external sense data through the 5 sense organs. The 6th consciousness is the intellectual consciousness, the faculty of judgment which discerns, compares, and distinguishes the sense data and ideas. The 7th consciousness, called the manas, is the ego consciousness, the inward awareness of oneself as an ego, and the clinging to discrimination between oneself and others. Even when the first 6 kinds of consciousness are not functioning, for example, in deep sleep, the 7th consciousness is still present, and if threatened, this consciousness, through the impulse of self-protection, will cause us to awaken. The 8th consciousness is called Alaya Vijnana, the storehouse consciousness. Because this consciousness is so deep, it is very difficult to understand. The Alaya Vijnana is a repository, which stores all the impressions of our deeds and experiences. Everything we see, hear, smell, taste, touch, and do deposits, so to speak. A seed is a nucleus of karmic energy. Since the Alaya hoards all the seeds of our past actions, it is the architect of our destiny. Our life and character reflect the seeds in our store consciousness. If we deposit bad seeds, perform more evil actions, we will become bad persons. Since Buddhism places ultimate responsibility for our life in our own hands, if we want our hands to mold our life in a better way, we must launch our minds in a better direction, for it is the mind which controls, the hands which mold our life. However, sometimes we know someone who is virtuous, gentle, kind, loving and wise, and yet his life is filled with troubles, from morning to night. Why is this? What happens to our theory that good acts lead to happiness and bad acts to suffering? To understand this, we must realize that the fruits of karma do not necessarily mature in the same lifetime in which the karma is originally accumulated. Karma may bring about its consequences in the next life or in succeeding lives. If a person was good in a previous life, he may enjoy happiness and prosperity in this life, even though his conduct now is bad. And a person who is very virtuous now may still meet a lot of trouble because of bad karma from a past life. It is like planting different kinds of seeds. Some will come to flower very fast. Others will take a long time, maybe years. The law of cause and effect does not come about at different times, in different forms and at different locations. While some of our experiences are due to karma in the present life, others may be due to karma from previous lives. In the present life, we receive the results of our actions, done in past lives as well as in the present. And what we reap in the future will be the result of what we do in the present. The doctrine of karma is not merely a doctrine of cause and effect, but of action and reaction. The doctrine holds that every action willfully performed by an agent, be it of thought, word, or deed, tends to react upon that agent. The law of karma is a natural law, and its operation cannot be suspended by any power of a deity. Our action brings about their natural results. Recognizing this, Buddhists do not pray to a god for mercy, but rather regulate their actions to bring them into harmony with the universal law. If they do evil, they try to discover their mistakes and rectify their ways, and if they do good, they try to maintain and develop that good. Buddhists should not worry about the past, but rather be concerned about what we are doing in the present. Instead of running around seeking salvation, we should try to sow good seeds in the present and leave the results to the law of karma. The theory of karma in Buddhism makes man, and no one else, the architect of his own destiny. From moment to moment, we are producing and creating our own destiny through our thought, our speech, and our deeds. Thus the ancients said, "Sow a thought and reap an act, sow an act and reap a habit, sow a habit and reap a character, sow a character and reap a destiny."